Credit Suite, and today I'm coming at you talking about how to finance a fleet of business vehicles. Because at the end of the day, having a fleet at your disposal can make you a ton of money and you can do some really awesome stuff with it. But before we get started, I've got a couple announcements here of upcoming events and things that we got going on. The first one I'm actually super excited about. We've got Ty had thrown together a quick master class for this coming Thursday, so not tomorrow, but the day after. So live, join in. Ty will be here, and we've got a really cool announcement. I'm gonna give you a quick sneak peek here of what we're dealing with, but we're unveiling our new software platform. But I'm not going to get too deep into it because Ty is going to go into it in depth. But there's a lot of really, really cool things in here for everybody, from funding to growing business credit. Lots of really cool things happening with that. So make sure you register for the masterclass for the free webinar that's coming up Thursday. And like I said, it's going to be streamed live. So make sure you like, you follow, you subscribe, you do all the things on all the platforms so that you know where to go and you don't miss it. And then next up, we've actually got our Funding 50 challenge. So if you've been around us for a while, we've put on the Funding 30 challenge before. Now we have the Funding 50 coming up. And the Funding 50 is just that. We're going to show you 50 different ways that you can use to grow and expand your business. It's a free 3-day event. Ty and several other speakers are going to be there. We're going to show you 50 different ways to fund your business. It's going to be a great time. You can register for that for free at funding50challenge.com, or just click the QR code right there and it will take you to the magical destination on the interwebs. And it's a great time to be had by all. All right, so you didn't hear to hear me talk about commercials. So let's jump into our training today. Today we're going to talk about how to finance a fleet of business vehicles. I love this topic. I've talked about this a lot with you guys and on our channels here. And I think this is one of the coolest things about business credit is being able to buy a company vehicle without a personal guarantee. The reason I love this so much is because no matter what kind of business you're in, there's always there's always a ton of different purposes for having a business car and having a company vehicle. And if you're in trucking, or if you're in all sorts of businesses, as your company grows and expands, having the ability to have a fleet of vehicles to go along with it goes a long way. So like, even if you're in construction and you start hiring a crew, could you imagine what it would be like if all of them pulled up? You had a Ford F-150 for everybody in the company. They all had their own gas cards. You know where your vehicles are at. You're building assets for your company. You're providing your employees a stability, giving them company vehicles, building your brand. I mean, there's just a lot of really cool value to it. Or maybe you're a smaller business and you're more of the white collar worker, and you just need a good vehicle for getting back and forth to appointments and different meetings. I'm going to show you how to get approved, whether you're buying a fleet or you just want one company vehicle in the business name. So let's jump into it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is I'm going to give away all the secrets right here. I've got 5 different lenders that will actually approve you for a company vehicle without a personal guarantee. First one, Ally Financial. Ally Financial is owned by Ford Motor Credit. Ally Financial specializes more in used vehicles. So if you're going the used route, Ally may be a great option for you on that route. Coming in second is actually Ford Commercial. Now, I didn't even think to bring this up, but Ford Commercial actually has some really, really unique values that I think are very powerful. Sorry, I'm trying to pull it up here while I'm talking. Have some really cool things that you can do with Ford. Where most of the time you think about a company vehicle and you've got you can get obviously Ford F-150s, you can do all that, but let me just share this with you here real quick, because I think this is important. It's always good to know what you're looking at. Yeah, here we go. Okay, we like cookies. That's great. Okay, so with Ford Commercial, look at all you can do. You have access to a dump truck with heavy duty. I think that's a 450. It's probably It's probably got the diesel engine. You've got Sprinter vans. So if you're in delivery, you can have a whole fleet of Sprinter vans. If you want to work for Amazon, do some really cool things with that. Um, you can you've got work trucks, work vans that you can see it's even got all the storage capacity right there, all the cargo space. So like if you're an electrician, you're a technician, something like that, that'd be a great option for being able to have a fleet of those out running around. Just an F-150 truck, I mean, who doesn't love an F-150? I live in rural Kansas City area. If you don't drive an F-150, then you really don't fit in. So I mean, it's just kind of like the go-to. It's that or a Silverado. Or you've got just more of like the little Sprinter van, something to get you back and forth, do some deliveries, carry some passengers, just great options. And again, this is Ford, so they will approve you without a personal guarantee after we go through all the prerequisites, because I'm going to show you how to get approved, what you need to do, what the process looks like. And if you guys are coming in, say hi to me, tell me where you're from, tell me what kind of business you have. Love to hear from you guys. If you have questions while we're going through this, feel free to shout them out. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you, make sure that you have everything you need to build yourself a fleet, or to build your business credit, or to get financing, or anything that I can help you do. I'm more than happy to jump on here and do it. So the next company we have, and the next three are a little bit more obscure. They're not your normal household brands like Ally or Ford, but there's still three different companies that will offer vehicle financing. The first is called Crest Capital. So it's Crest Capital. The next one is National Funding, and then the last one is Newport Business Capital. And I'm going to throw them in the chat for you guys here, so that way you've got them all right here. And hopefully this that came across kind of ugly. Sorry about that. But you've got Ally Financial, Ford. Ford Commercial, Crest Capital, National Funding, Newport Business Capital. So we've got some people coming in saying, hi, Rosie is in California. Hi, Rosie, glad you could be on here. Just started Turo, have 2 of my personal cards, doing good. Awesome. This would be a great training for you to help get you up and going. We've got Pierre Robert, hello from ABCDEFGHI Investing LLC. Love the name. Very great use of something that we all know and understand. So love it. Great name. Great to have you on today. So okay, now we've talked about why you need fleet financing for your business. We've talked about, I've given you 5 different lenders that will work with you through this process. Now let's just jump into the actual process of getting going. So the first thing that you need to understand is before you get into any of this, the first thing you need to do is understand, or the first thing you need to understand is how your business is structured is going to play a huge impact in this journey. I can give you all these steps, but if you miss this first one, it's just going to tank everything that you're doing. It's going to stop you right in your tracks. And that's talking about your fundability foundation, or the foundation of your company, how it looks on paper, what it looks like when people come in and visit your site, when they're looking up your public records, when they're looking up state and federal government information about your company. This is what lenders are going to use to determine the credibility of your business. So what I mean by credibility is they're going to look at it and see, are you a legitimate business? And when you're talking about fundability foundation, there's really 3 different areas that I like to break this down into. The first one's called your business entity. Your business entity is making sure that you have an LLC, S Corp, C Corp filed. Stay away from sole proprietors until for business credit. And the reason that you want to stay away from a sole proprietorship is because even if you have an EIN number based on that sole proprietor, just the corporate structure of a sole proprietorship means that if something happens financially, that you personally are still responsible. So at the very minimum, at least have an LLC, but an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp, any of those are going to work out fine. Even partnerships work for this, but just avoid the sole proprietor. SBA said it best. They said that they view sole proprietorships as you experimenting with a business. So At the end of the day, for this purpose, my goal is to help you avoid the personal guarantee, to make it where if something happens, God forbid something happens to the company and it becomes insoluble, that you're not stuck holding all these vehicles, all this debt, and just trying to figure out where to go. Because I've been there before. It's a nightmare. I don't recommend anybody ever go back there again, because it's not worth it. It's not fun. So your fundability foundation. So the first thing is your entity structure. Part of your entity structure of what you're going to be looking at is, again, your filings, how you're registered, making sure you have your EIN number, and making sure that you're registered with federal, state, and local areas. Looks like we have some more people coming in. Ash from Northbridge, California, getting how about rental cars for Toro? A lot of these vehicles that we're talking about, you can build fleets with them. That's the whole purpose of this training, Ash, is to show you how to get the company vehicles without the personal guarantee. When it comes to rentals for Toro, different things like that, there may be some different areas that you have to consider. There may be some restrictions with that. But that's always on a case by case, and you want to talk with them about it. Looks like we have Marvin coming in from Texas. Marvin, cargo van transport business. Perfect. Glad you're on here today. I hope this can really help you get that fleet that you need to go and move things forward. And Joseph on YouTube says, how large of credit line will Ford or Chevy give you? That's a great question. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But a lot of times it's actually an installment loan that they're giving you. It's a lot of them aren't just giving you open credit lines; they're giving you installment loans, and that's going to be a lot of that's going to be dependent on the revenue that the company is bringing in. Because when you're looking at I'm jumping ahead. Just hang with me. I'll get to that. I promise. That's one of the things that we're talking about here. So, building your fundability of your business. Let's get back to the basics here. So we're gonna have you're gonna have your entity set up. The next thing you're gonna have set up, the second factor in this is what I call your business office. Your business office is going to be your address. You need a professional address. You need an address that's going to that shows the location of the company. Using your personal address can be okay, but you also have to put some credibility into this and do a little bit of critical thinking. If you're out there telling Ford that you're building this massive corporation and you need a fleet, but you're registering it to your personal home, sometimes that doesn't really go over well. Virtual addresses work wonderfully as a good alternative. And plus, as you start doing advertising, as you start getting your name out there, what it does is it keeps your personal home and your personal assets out of the public view. So people can't just look up and go, oh, well, that's where Keith lives. I'm in Kansas City. Let's go make a buy me barbecue. It's not like that. They can't really see where you personally are at, where your family's at. They don't have street views on Google on where you live. So it's very important to know that. It's very good to keep that in mind while you're going through it. And then the last thing that you're going to need out of the three is your business banking. And that's going to be a separate business checking account, business savings account as well, to start building your reserves, having a merchant account so you can accept payments from people that are using credit cards or different credit lines. So get those three things in order first. Make sure your business is registered with the credit bureaus, especially Dun & Bradstreet. Experian and Equifax you don't need to register. And if you want to learn more about this, we actually have a whole training on. Let me see if I can find it here. A whole training on how to build your fundability. I believe this one. Yeah, this is actually a blog post that we have that's out there that will take you there. It's you can take a screenshot if you're on your iPhone. You can click that, or you can visit. I believe it's creditsuite.com. I'll find that here. Here we go. Creditsuite.com/foundation will get you access to our free mini course. If you haven't jumped in and you haven't started building your fundability and your foundation yet, definitely go through this course before you do anything. Again, creditsuite.com/foundation will get you in. It's free. You can test that out and give it a shot and see how it works, or get your business set up properly. So now that we've covered your fundability foundation, now we need to start building the credibility of your business. And now that the structure is in place, now it's time to really start getting your credit to that place that it needs to go. Before we jump in here, I got a couple more questions. Natasha's World of Transportation. Sounds like this is the perfect training for you. George on Facebook. I have a question about having a professional business address. I heard one of the videos. It's better not to have an address that other businesses are using, like Regis, for example. Don't lenders know it's just a shared office? That's a great question, George. But logically, um, before the rollout of virtual addresses, people were in the same office buildings. When you're looking at like a Regis or anything like that, excuse me, anytime you're looking at a Regis or anything like that, they're going to give you your own suite number. So just like you're in a high rise in the middle of New York, you're going to have your own suite number, your own floors. You're going to have all this different stuff. This shows that you've got a place specifically in that building. It's the same thing with Regis. And like I run our social media and our content team here at Credit Suite. And I'm the guy who actually has to end up fighting fraudulent reviews on Google. And I've actually seen some people, some things come across where people are putting in complaints for other companies that are in the same virtual address as Credit Suite. So it does happen. It is an obstacle, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing as if you were renting out of a multi-unit complex for your business anyway. All right, so now we've talked about building your fundability, making sure you have everything. We've covered our 5 lenders that are going to help you out. Now we need to get to the point where you can qualify. First thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to have business credit. You can't buy a fleet of vehicles without having business credit. This process is not a quick fix. This is something that can potentially take 4 to 6 months if you really get aggressive, you really get on top of it, you really start working towards having this goal in mind. It's something that's going to take some time to get there. You're going to have to ramp up. It's just like your personal credit. Without a credit history, there's no credit score. Without a credit history, somebody's not going to approve you. And it's the same thing in business. If you don't have your business credit scores, if you don't have these accounts reporting, businesses aren't going to loan you money for the vehicles. Now, as you're getting into this, one of the tricky things about business credit is that unlike personal credit, we've all gotten spoiled with the personal credit world because you go out, you get a credit card, you get a loan from a bank, you go to a fintech company online that's advertising to you, and it's really easy to know that account's going to be reporting on your personal credit report. On business credit, only about 10% of the companies that offer you a credit line will actually report on either Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, or Equifax. And so as you're getting into this process, you've got to be very specific about what you're looking for. And so what you're going to do, though, is you're going to start with what we call starter vendors. Starter vendors, there's about 30 different accounts that you can use for starter vendors. Starter vendors are going to include like gas companies because your fleet's going to need fuel. There are fleet cards out there for maintenance. There's like one of my personal favorites is like Uline. And the reason I like it is really dumb. So I told you guys earlier, I'm from Kansas City. I'm a country boy. I mean, I grew up, my parents had about 5 acres. I lived next to a farm. I started helping with cattle about the age of 9. Like that's my world. I've been in it. The reason I like Uline is that if you're looking for a fleet, there's a lot of the cool things that you're going to need for the trucks and for the vehicles that are going to keep you on the road. So if you're looking at like a transportation company, you're going to have all your strap locks in there. You're going to have different mats. You're going to be able to buy shelves that can organize things. If you have a garage or a warehouse where you're storing all the goods that you're going to be transporting back and forth, you can get all your shelves in there. You can store all the stuff that you're getting in there. Uline is a great credit line to do that. Now, when you're working on your starter vendor accounts, these are going to be net 30 accounts. So a net 30 means that it's not like a fully revolving credit card where you can buy thousands of dollars worth of equipment and then make a minimum payment until you get it paid off. But it's more, it's with a net 30, you're going to have to buy it and then pay it off within 30 days. It's just kind of the game of business credit. It's how we get started. It's how we start building our report. You cannot like it. I don't like it. I think it's kind of silly. I'd rather have just revolving credit cards. But the problem is the revolving credit cards are going to require a personal guarantee, which is an option if you want to go that direction. But many of those don't report. So you're still going to have to go through the business credit building process one way or another. But those net 30 accounts are helpful. And if you want to learn more about starter vendors that we recommend, you can check out our free guide at creditsuite.com/EIN. I'm throwing a lot of our resources out here for you. This is probably our most, well, I know it's our most popular download. This has been downloaded over 1 million times. It's creditsuite.com/EIN. And my wonderful teammate Alfredo threw this up for you guys. But it's you can click the you can take a picture of that and download it right with your QR code. However you need to get that, but get your hands on that. It's going to be very helpful, and it's actually going to map out the starter vendors and all the vendors that you're going to need throughout the entire process of building business credit. We update this annually, so I know it's up to date because I just went through it with my team to know that it's working, to know that everything's there. But this is a free way to be able to get your business credit started, to be able to get on this journey, so that we can get you into the business credit marketplace, so we can get you to that point where you can get your fleet, you can get the vehicles that you want. So you need to start building with your business, building your business credit. Now, the secret to building your business credit is this. I see a lot of people, like we have one of the largest business credit Facebook groups out there called Get Business Credit. Those of you guys who are hanging out with me from that group, love you guys. You guys are rock stars in there. But when you're building your business credit, one of the big things that you have to keep in mind is, just like your personal credit, if you don't use it, it has no value. Credit is only scored based off of usage. If you're using your credit lines, if you're using these to be able to get your business, to be able to try to reach a goal, you've got to consistently use them. So find credit lines inside of that guide that are really going to fit your needs, that are going to fit what you're looking for, and use them consistently. The biggest thing that I can tell you is this: the more that you dive into how you can actually leverage business credit inside of your business, the more value it's going to have to you. It's going to open up your cash flow. It's going to give you buying power. It's going to give you the ability to be able to actually get to the point where you can buy company vehicles. You can get business credit cards without a personal guarantee. All sorts of options and opportunities open up: better terms, better rates on loans, better qualifications. If you're dealing with damaged personal credit, your business credit can offset some of your personal credit issues. Your insurance premiums. I mean, it's just it's a very, very deep well that you can pull from to be able to get all this value, to be able to get your business moving forward. So as you're building business credit, you're really going to go through 3 tiers of building. And we call them tiers not because credit bureaus say and blah, blah, blah. No, it's just our way of explaining the process to you in a simplified fashion. So you're going to start with about 3 or 4 accounts on tier 1. And you're going to get them, start using them, make the payments, make sure they're reporting. So you'll pull a copy of your business credit report, watch the progress, make sure they show up. When they show up, you move to tier 2, and then you replicate the process. Each time, what's going to happen is these credit lines are going to get a little bit better. Most of the time, they're going to stay in the net 30 range when you're dealing with building business credit. But as you're moving through the process, your credit lines are going to get bigger. The companies are going to become better. They're going to be more efficient. They're going to have more value to what you're going to do in your business, and be something that you're going to be able to incorporate more on a long-term basis. So make sure that you're actively building your business credit, using it. Because again, you have to think that your business right now is like a teenager that just graduated high school. You've got no credit. You may have a little bit of income coming in, or maybe even you got great income. But if you don't have that business credit profile there, just because you have the income, you may be able to qualify for some loans. But to build your business credit, to get that profile with Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian where it needs to be, so that you can unlock the millions of dollars of financing later, to get to the point where you're financing a fleet of business vehicles, it's going to take time. It's going to take consistent, deliberate effort on your part to be able to get there. But if you follow the process that we mapped out for you at creditsuite.com/EIN in the guide, it's going to walk you through that process, and it's going to get you there. Like I said, it's about a 4 to 6 month process to get there, but you can start doing it now. Even if you're just a startup, even if you're just getting things going, or if you've been in business for years, you can fast track some of this by adding a lot of accounts if you've got the revenue there. But just be strategic in it. And if you need help, we're always here to help you out through that process. All right, how to know that you're ready for vehicle financing. Here's the qualification requirements. They need to see at least 10 to 12 reporting accounts on your business credit report. Again, that's the tricky part, because not all credit reports or credit accounts report, business credit accounts report, and you need to have 10 to 12 reporting. You need to have one of those, and this is a hidden factor that I'm just sharing with you guys. Well, I mean, it's public now, but you need to have one credit line that's $10,000 or more. It may sound like a lot, but when you get in the business credit world, business credit limits are always at least 10 to 100 times larger than personal credit lines. Business finances are different. There's more money, it flows more freely, and creditors know this, and it's okay. They'll work with you, but you got to be working towards that big credit line. And the way that you get those bigger credit lines is by building your business credit. It's the same process, so it all works hand in glove. And then the other thing that you're going to need to do is prove that you have income to be able to make the car payments. You can't buy a car payment if you can't pay for the car. And for some of you guys that may be in startup mode, this gets a little tricky because to be able to get to that point, you have to have the tool to be able to make the money, but you need the money to make the tool. It's kind of a chicken and egg scenario. But there are creative ways to go about it. There are some things that you can do. If you've got good personal credit, you could even look at a program like the Credit Line Hybrid, where you can use a personal guarantee. You can get some money for your business, get up to $150,000 revenue for your business. It does require a personal guarantee. You have to have good, strong personal credit to qualify, but it's no income, no asset, no doc financing that you can qualify for. Usually what I've seen from my clients that have gone through this process, by the time they get to this point where they're really looking at qualifications, it doesn't take a lot of revenue, because part of what they're looking at is they're looking at how much money is your company really spending. So if you're like, let's say you're in startup mode and you're running Toro on the side and you're trying to finance a fleet to be able to get to that point, you're not necessarily doing Toro full time. You still have a job. So your salary is not actually an expense of the business yet. So if your business is making $10,000 a month, but it's not including your salary, that $10,000 a month can all be profit outside of your expenses. So when Ford comes in and looks at it and they're like, oh, you want a dump truck? Cool. Well, probably not for Toro, but you go to Ally and you say, hey, I got this car that I want. They're going to look at it and go, you've got $10,000 a month. You really don't have any expenses. Okay, you can afford this. And that's really the qualifications. Again, it's not always that they're going to give you lines of credit, especially as you're getting started. It's more going to be installment loans, traditional installment financing, just like you would personally. So you can get 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, even more on some of the bigger ones, especially as you start getting into higher dollar equipment. They start being a little more flexible with that. Excuse me. So yeah, that we've covered a lot of stuff. So that's kind of the basics in a nutshell. And listen, guys, I know I've thrown a lot of stuff at you guys, but if you go check out the free EIN guide at creditsuite.com/EIN, that's going to give you the exact process. I can't outline everything for you in 30 minutes. It's a lot. We hold free three-day challenges for that. And we've got one coming up on the 26th at the Funding 50 Challenge. But it's a process to get there. This guide has everything. It shows you the vendors, it shows you the steps, shows you where to get credit monitoring. It's all right there for you, and it's free. It doesn't get any better than that. So you can pull on Ty's brain, get it all from him right here inside of the EIN guide. Or if you have questions, we're more than happy to sit down with you, do a free business financing assessment. And you can reach us there at creditsuite.com/consult, or you're always welcome to give us a call at any time if you have any questions. We're always happy. We're always available. We have a team of account executives who will reach out, who will speak to you, figure out what your situation is, figure out what you need to qualify for. You can reach us at 877-600-2487. Again, 877-600-2487. And speak with us there. We're always happy to help, or click on that, take a picture of that, or go to creditsuite.com/consult. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And if you have questions, me and Alfredo, we're always watching the chats on all of these platforms. So if you have any other questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. We'll jump in here. We'll answer them for you, help you out, make sure that you got all the tools that you need to be able to get your fleet. And by the way, once you start on this process, give us a shout, message us online, let us know how things are going. If there's anything that you need throughout the process, just reach out. We're always here to help. As you can see, we got tons of free resources that we love building for you guys. We love helping out and doing what we can. So make sure to tune in next Thursday, or this coming Thursday in 2 days, as Ty reveals our new software platform, the fundability platform. It's going to blow your mind. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen Ty do. And I've been hanging out with Ty for a long time, since he started Credit Suite. And he's got some really cool things that he's going to do. Come check it out. You don't want to miss this. It's a game changer for the business credit, business financing industry. It's going to revolutionize how you look at business credit and business finances. So join us next Thursday. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow us, do all the cool things on all the cool platforms, and we will see you guys next time. Have a great day.